Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today, Delirium League start. It's about 7 hours, close to 8 hours until the start. It's for me like 9 PM or something like that. I was working whole night. I haven't even slept since yesterday, so I should definitely get some sleep here after this video. So first work, then rest, and then we're gonna have fun in the league here. And I want to bring you guys the follow-up video to my league start. For some reason, all of my league start ideas that I had survived the patch notes, so I think I'm going to stick with my Pestilent Strike, or better said, the Plague Strike Pathfinder. Since I always mix those two up, Pestilent Strike, Plague Bearer and stuff, we're just going to call it Plague Strike Pathfinder, and everybody should know at some time, or at some point, what I mean. So basically, I do have a hard time creating a league start. Reason for that is, I want to plan for the future what items I would like to get. For example, a 6-link Queen of the Forest and stuff like that. But the question is always like, how long will it take this time to get certain items? Because I will get those. It's basically just a matter of time. And a good build guide, especially for YouTube and stuff like content creating here, would be a full grown out build guide about certain builds. And my build is definitely not a league starter then, right? So I still want to try to give you a good opinion about my build, basically trying to tell you what my aims are, what I'm looking for first, and how I want to progress my build. And also I have a couple of other league starts if you still don't know what you want to play. So I was invited yesterday by Terrence. It's probably the biggest German Path of Exile streamer. I think a lot of people know Terrence already. It's a hardcore solo self-found racer. And I was invited yesterday. We were talking like from like 6 PM until like 6 in the morning, like 12 hours about league starters, about build ideas, about patch notes, cluster jewels, and so on. And I also gonna link certain builds that we created yesterday on the stream in the description below. One of those is, for example, an animate weapon build that turned out to be probably the strongest league starter that you can have. We had really some super cheap items, probably almost naked characters, and it was not even hard to reach like 1,000,000 Shaper DPS with the animate weapons. And it is kinda insane. And he actually wanted to start as the Bane Pop Occultist, but seeing the animate weapon, it is like probably too strong to just skip it. So the path of buildings are in the description below, but I just want to mention those if you're still looking for a league start. But this video, I want to talk about the Pestilent Strike, my league starter. So if we take a look at the path of building, I did play around with some of the stats, but it's not like a ground out build guide here, right? We have some 2020 gems here. Some of the jewels are missing, Abyss jewels and stuff like that. I just throw in some items that I think I want to have. It's going to be a mix of a certain 200 IQ build that I played with self-poison, so I really want to bring in the self-poison again because I really like those in-depth builds where every item is built towards the other item. I also want to try to get max block on my Pathfinder. I want to get face aggro without aggro, but not using the perfect form. I want to use a Thread of Hope in this case. So there is so much things that I would like to have on this build. But the question is always like, it's about testing, it's about trying, you know? I played the 200 IQ poison build, the self-poison build with like, yeah, with all the kind of stuff that I explained in the video. It's like, it was a half-an-hour video just explaining why certain items are good for this build, just because it works together and stuff like that. And last league I played it as a dual-wield character without self-poisoning. This time around, I really like the idea of self-poisoning, also with the reverse chill that I have with the Icefang Orbit and the Winter Reef, for example. But these are not like top-notch items, okay? They give me a lot of action speed based on the chill effect or the reverse chill. But if they're actually good enough to go for Awakener 8 and farm the hardest content in the game is questionable. And the biggest question, the biggest problem that we have on League Start are the new cluster jewels. So as far as we saw, there is so many insane stuff on the cluster jewels that you don't want to live without them, to be honest. There is poison, like specific for my build now, and there is cluster jewels or stats where you like the first poison that you do that it deals like 300% more damage. And then you can just stack those up and you can get up to like, I think like up to 6 of those if you hit the right connections with the right large jewel, so you get the most out of it, like the unique jewel, and then you can go to 3 medium ones. And the medium ones can have those stats, and I saw screenshots where it can have like 2 of the same. So you can get up to like almost like 1,800% increased damage for your first poison what you hit. But then if I get that, I would like to take less attack speed and really stick with my first big hit to just clear everything because of the poison proliferation and so on. There is a lot of other really good notes, and it's also about building your character. You don't want to spend too many points, and there is so many ways to play that build, or at least to build it, what I want to show here a little bit. And then it's basically just about what items will I find, how much currency will I get, and what I'm going to try out first. The only thing that I really want to have is a weapon with the fossil modifier, or now it's basically an elder mod, with a typical, what was it, 60% chance for poisons that you deal, where you inflict with your weapon for 100% more damage. That is, I think, additive with the Pathfinder note here, with 40% poison you inflict deal 100% more damage. So basically, once you have a flask up, every poison you do will deal 100% more damage. And this is one of the key factors in this build. So one of the first main priorities here in my build will be getting one of those weapons. Other than that, the rest can be purchased at some point. You know, I have here in the Solstice Vigil is a Shaper drop, which is not a League Starter item, right? But it's not really an expensive item where you say like, holy shit, MBX, that's like a 25 Exalts amulet. There is no way you're gonna get this early on, or we are not gonna get it early on, you know? So Solstice Vigil is an amulet, will not be cheap in the start, but what does it do? Temp chains for free. Temp chains also, how you say, a damage and a defensive layer. So in one hand, it weakens the enemy, but they also the poisons that we're gonna inflict will last way longer than that. So we're gonna have a lot more total DPS based on that, or damage done. Then allocates Trouble Fury, or on the gloves, for example, the strike skills hit 1 additional target, which is basically quality of life. This is a hunter mod, right? The Trouble Fury costs a golden oil, so based on league start, when will you ever get the first golden oil? You know, can be day 2 of the league if you're lucky, can be day 5 of the league. It depends, basically everything here depends on what currency drops you want to have and how fast you can progress in the build. The only thing that I want to have 100% is this poison mod on the weapon. But on the start, I really want to go for the wasp nests, I think. That will be probably 1, 2, maybe 3 chaos in the start of the league. I'm probably even gonna dual wield those, because the Apep Supremacy, the self-poison shield, as far as I know, this is the upgraded shield, and you need the vial for it to upgrade it in the temple, and they usually go for like 1 or 2 exalts, even in later stages of the league, just because the vials are kind of rare, but the shield is completely unused, basically. Like, not a lot of builds, as far as I know, uses this kind of stuff, right? But in the end, it's just about, you have a list. This is basically my list where I say like, okay, I want to have my Queen of the Forest, maybe a Devouring Diadem that I can go with the, what's it called? The Eldritch Battery, for example, to have no mana, you know, that your mana is your energy shield. Then I can get up to 100% of your mana reserved for auras like Malevolence and stuff like that. I also build in here the Helen Steps, where you get reduced damage taken from blinded enemies. Therefore, we're gonna have the Flesh and Stone, if I can find it, Flesh and Stone, where it says if you're in Sand Stance, nearby enemies are blinded, so that's a damage reduction with the temp chains and other stuff like that. I just want to really try this time. It's the 3rd time I'm trying Pestilent Strike, and every time I played it, I had so much fun. It is so fast, and as you can see here, we have like, how much movement speed do we have here? Movement speed modifier plus 382%, which is kind of weird, because to be honest, as soon as your character has a 250 or 300% movement speed, it gets hard to control, and it's actually hard to hit certain enemies. That's why we have Trouble Fury to make it easier, so you don't even have to hit the enemy. You're gonna strike any, or at least the Trouble Fury will strike any target, right? But yeah, let's talk about the skill tree real quick. What would be my start? I would path down here, Heart of the Oak, take the poison notes, the life notes, and as I was explaining early on, I would like to take one of these outermost jewel slots here, either this one or the one on the bottom side. for a potential cluster jewel. We're gonna find cluster jewel, we just don't know how rare they are or when you will get access to those, right? But I still want to have one jewel slot open to test those. So if I'm gonna find one, as I said in the previous video, we're probably gonna use it. If not, I'm just gonna throw it on a stash and we're gonna see what happens with it. So then I would go up here, and then there's a question. Like, this would be my entire tree. We would be level 53, right? There's a couple points more because of the Thread of Hope that doesn't really work in the Path of Building, so I wrote in manually allocates this, allocates that, allocates this, but they are not costing any skill points, so you have to add some on top of those. But we have like Fatal Toxins with the medium with the medium one. Then you have Hunter's Gambit with the damage over time with the poison inflict damage faster. You get the Silent Steps, which is a layer of defense. You get the From the Shadows, which is actually a dagger node, but the chance to gain phasing, which is really nice for the clearing. You're gonna get those globally, right? And it's in the end, it's just one skill point. The good thing with this one, I can skill into phase acrobatics without using acrobatics. The thing is, we're gonna have shit tons of evasion. I think, like, how much evasion do I have right now? Like 30,000. It will go up to like probably 50,000 at some point, because my skill tree is not even halfway done. As I said, we are just pretty low here, level 60, maybe 63 or something, so there is a lot of more points that I haven't spent yet. But in the end, we're gonna have enough evasion rating to sustain the Queen of the Forest with the maximum movement speed, and the acrobatics gives you chance to dodge, but less armor, less energy shield, less chance to block spell damage and attack damage. And since I really would like to take a shield, and there is a lot of block nodes for the cluster jewels, the idea of getting a max block somehow, or at least a lot of block chance and dodge and so on your tree, or at least on your character, would be really nice. So I would like to take the Thread of Hope here and remove one possible cluster jewel in that case, because I want to take the phase acro without taking acrobatics, so I get the dodge for the spells, because based on our evasion rating, we're gonna have a lot of chance to dodge anyways. And if we play it like that, I still have the option to take this jewel slot here for the cluster jewel, because if you really have a good combination, don't forget about it. You need a good large jewel, you need good medium jewels, and you need good small jewels to make this full thing really, really powerful. I mean, it is going to be powerful anyways, but the quest is to get this perfect jewel combinations, right? And this will then take up 20 or 30 points. So this would be my skill tree here. If I would say I don't have it, right, then I would probably just path down here, remove some points over there. Would probably take these nodes here. We'll remove all of that here. And then I would just go the typical way up here with these growth and decay, then the life nodes here. Atrophy would be an option if I path here. If I don't have the helmet, the Devouring Diadem that gives me Eldritch Battery, I could take this one, and then here this outermost jewel slot here, right? That would be an option, and we would be level probably 75, 78. Then I could start thinking about, let's go take some more life and stuff like that. Another way of building, if you say like, okay, we have enough damage based on our gear, we could take the more defensive way. That would mean that we're just gonna remove, or at least add those 2 points here, remove the whole cluster here, and go downwards here. So if we quickly fix that so it's easier to follow. So remove all of that and all of the top side here. So basically the life nodes, the damage over time nodes, my intelligence, my life nodes here, because we're going to path to the claw nodes anyways. But then we're going to take the life nodes, here the damage over time nodes, the jewel slot, the extra one, and then we could path out over here, take a bunch of evasion rating, take the all resistance here, and take up the full Scion life cluster, and then we have access to these flask nodes here, with also gives us life. We could take more life here, we could take area, we could take attack speed and another jewel slot. This is the way that I built it before, because I don't think that I really need the top side area here, right? But then we are still not even skilled out, and then this is basically what I want to have is basically this part here, right? And this is about 75 or 80 skill points. This is probably what I'm gonna reach after the first stream here. And then we're gonna build towards this side. And if I find a good cluster jewel, I'm just going to regret those parts here, right? But as I said, it is kind of hard for me to make a build guide based on that, because I don't know which cluster jewel I'm going to find. If I'm going to find one, will it have the right stats that I want to have? How many skill points will it take? There is just so many parts that I want to adjust here? What about my block nodes that I want to take? If I have a shield, if I can get block on my cluster jewel, then I would consider actually pathing down here and taking the shield block nodes, right? I could also remove the top side here and then go for the bottom side, take those poison nodes, take the life nodes, take the block nodes over here, path over here, bravery, art of gladiator, all these life nodes, right? There is, as I said, it is kind of hard at the moment to do something finalized for something that we don't know yet. I just want to give you some ideas that are going through my mind when building this character. And as I said, probably in the first stage will be the wasp nests, a tabula. These are going to be my first items that I'm going to buy. And then following up, the first thing that I want to do is trying to get one of these elder crafted claws with the poison modifier. We're gonna see how long it takes, especially also for the 6th link, right? I said I'm probably gonna take a tabula early on, and there is an option like Dendrobate would be an option, right? The perfect form would be an option. I personally would like to go with the Queen of the Forest just for the insane speed, but as I know from my experience, at some point, if you have so much movement speed, bossing like Uber Elder and stuff is actually harder with a lot of movement speed, just because, you know, for example, the boss spawns his circle where you're not allowed to move outside, but you click one time and with like almost 400% movement speed, you click once and you're outside of the circle and you die once he blows this one up, you know? So some bosses will get essentially harder with the insane movement speed that we're gonna have. The next thing is, we have a lot of movement speed, we have too much movement speed. Should I either remove the Queen of the Forest or get rid of my self-poison, like self-chill here, the reverse chill jewels here, and remove some movement speed over there? And there's like, it is just so much to think about and to do, and we're gonna do it the same way, or at least as I do it for the past previous leagues. I'm going to make a build diary like we used to. Means every single day after the stream, or at least before the stream, we're gonna start the series right now. That means I'm going to talk about what are my plans for league start, what I'm going to do on the first stream. On the next, or what are my goals basically. On the next day, we're going to talk about what goals did I achieve, and also what are the plans for the next stream. What are the best drops that I had, these stream highlights basically, Exile drops, big trades. I'm going to talk about how I made currency, how the progression goes up, you know. And then we're going to do this until Cyrus is down. I'm not sure if we're gonna do it a stop on the first Cyrus, or we're actually gonna go full mode and just stop the entire build diary once we have all 32 watchstones and Cyrus level 8 is down. What my character is worth at this point, how much currency did I made, and how I made those that currency. So the typical way, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing if you want to stay tuned. And basically, these are my basic ideas. We're going to work on that. And basically, what are the plans for today? First of all, I need some sleep, all right? So sorry for that. If you say like, holy shit, mbX, you look like a dead man. That's the reason why I haven't slept in quite some time. So hopefully I get some rest now since the work is now done. The YouTube video will be online before I go to bed. So the first thing is based on how long will I be up tonight, right? Good would be mapping. That means we're gonna level up level 1 to 70 in the first stream. That would be the best thing. And probably even 2 labs. Like, I would really like to get the Nature's Reprisal and the Master Toxicist here for my damage nodes. The rest here, the Flask Charges gain or the little bit movement speed, attack speed is not too mandatory, but these 2 are because of the poison damage and also the area of effect. So the plan would be go to mapping, do the first couple tier 1 maps, doesn't matter, get 2 labs completed, and this is basically it for the league start. There is not too much that you can actually do, because if you're not planned to do like a 24-hour stream or something, I'm gonna try to stream as long as possible, obviously, to push as far as possible, but tomorrow then, I'm gonna give you the update. How was the first day? How was the... You never know about league starts, you know, how stable are the servers, basically, how long did it take to get in. There's all like so many factors where you can get slowed down, basically, right? But yeah, this is basically it for today's video. This is my idea of my league starter. I'm really looking forward to today's league. I'm super hyped. Probably that's the reason why I cannot sleep. And yeah, we're gonna have a great time. I'm going to be streaming every single day, obviously, for the next like at least like 10 days, like 10 hours every single day. I'm gonna try to bring an update video every single day with the stream highlights from the previous stream if you missed that one, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a good time. I'm probably gonna start streaming today at 8 p.m, so basically in like 6.5 hours or something, so we can talk about the last couple of things before the league starts. And please make sure that you update your loot filter, for example, your PoE trait macro. Try to log in on Steam as soon as possible, that as soon as the update for the league goes live, before the servers go down and stuff, that you're actually ahead. So once you say like, okay, we are ready, everything is updated and ready to go. So we're gonna have a good time, hopefully. If you want to join, Twitch TV/mbXtreme today evening, and yeah, pretty sure we're gonna have a really great time and a good time, and I'm really looking forward to that one. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you on today's stream, hopefully.